staying with the Star Trek influence, I want to kind of get into the Doctor Who because
Mm.
I'm just a huge fan when it comes to Doctor Who. I've PBS interjected that into my life early on, and I've kind of just stayed there. But what was some of your first exposure to Doctor Who?
My family had tapes of the Seventh Doctor. I'm not sure where they got them from because a lot of these episodes were actually have like labels and whatnot. I don't know if they just record them off of PBS or something.
Mhm.
But the earliest one I can remember watching is Remembrance of the Daleks, Seventh Doctor. Just a lot of fun, and of course fascinating to me because I didn't understand. It's kind of silly that this alien robot has a plunger for an arm. It was just cool science fiction action for a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And of course, discovering more and more of it, I loved it, and I got associated with the lore. My friend Dodger likes to say that I'm a Doctor Who hipster because I always like to say that I liked Doctor Who before it was cool to like Doctor Who.
Well, I think sometimes you have to specify because I think it has become a lot more popular with the new series, especially.
Mm.
It's what
Most people these days have not seen the old series and don't care to see the old series because it's old and cheesy. But
eh,
I've been watching it since I was a little kid, and it's why I love stuff like the Eighth Doctor movie, because even though I recognize all the flaws that movie has, I saw it when I was like 9 years old, and you approach it with the mindset of a 9-year-old, and it's just absolute bliss.
I know some people try to give it a little grief sometimes when it comes to the romance storyline they kind of added in there.
Yeah, I'm still kind of ticked off about that too. Like I said, not perfect. The new series was doing that too. I've always felt that the Doctor companion relationship should always be more fatherly than romantic. But the interesting thing about the Eighth Doctor movie is that it kind of serves as a bridge between the old and the new because it has a lot of the older elements going for it and kind of a cheesiness to it, but at the same time it has a lot of elements that got incorporated into the new series, like more romantic elements, better special effects, and a stronger focus on story of end of the world kind of things, and still kind of preserving a mystery about everything.
Now, sticking with Doctor Who, what would probably be some of your favorite episodes and why?
A lot of my favorite episodes tend to be around the Seventh Doctor era. I love Remembrance of the Daleks. My favorite episode is probably Battlefield,
Hmm.
probably because I am a huge fan of Arthurian lore, and that episode is chock full of it. Uh, let's see other stuff from other Doctors. I liked Attack of the Cybermen, which is a Sixth Doctor story. I know a lot of people kind of get turned off by Colin Baker
Yeah.
stuff, and in that episode in particular, but I really liked it. I love the old Cyber Leader and Cybermen voices. They had
uh,
personality to them. I always liked.
is that the one where I believe it's one of the companions is they're trying to convert her into a Cyberman? I want to say, or is that an earlier one right there? Maybe the fifth Doctor or sixth Doctor.
There have been a few episodes where I think they were going to convert some companions into them. In Attack of the Cybermen, there was a supporting cast member who was being converted into one, though he wasn't a companion. He was actually an enemy of the
Yeah,
Doctor because it was the same character who had been in another a Fifth Doctor story called Resurrection of the Daleks,
yeah,
and he had originally worked for the Daleks.
yeah.
Then he was a mercenary, and he was kind of working for a race fighting the Cybermen.
That was actually just what I was thinking of. Uh, um, Now, probably, what are of course Sylvester McCoy, great Doctor. What have been some other of your other favorite Doctors?
Tom Baker, obviously.
Mhm.
You can't go wrong with Tom. He's just so so on top of things, goofy, but always having a darker streak to him. The Pirate Planet is just glorious for anybody. Strong story, a lot of overacting, but entertaining overacting, and not bad overacting, if that makes any sense. Kind of more like Khan kind of overacting.
Yeah, it's there's actually a funny example. There's a scene in a classic Tom Baker Doctor Who episode where I've been trying to get my wife into him, and where he ends up passing away on a stone table, and he just kicks his leg straight up in the most comedic sort of death pose that there where the director was just probably just yelled, just die entertaining, and he's like straight up, and she basically was like, all right, I'm done. I can't watch this. This is too silly. I'm like, what? Come on, that's great acting. That is Oscar Shakespearean acting right there. So, but uh, what would you say you enjoy more, the classic Doctor Who series or the new Doctor Who series?
It's hard to say exactly. One of the problems of the classic series is that it was designed to be a serial series, so there was a lot of padding. The thing I always remember about the old series is walking, lots and lots of walking, especially in like rock quarries or just outside. And for some ungodly reason, back in the day, both England and Japan used to do this. They don't anymore. Anything that was filmed outdoors was filmed on film reel, and anything indoors was videotaped. And
Oh,
it's, of course, this jarring quality contrast, and it always kind of bugged me.
would you say uh, staying with Sylvester, coming back to Sylvester McCoy, I should say, you've recently been to YomaCon, correct?
Hmm. Yep, and
Uh,
I'm going back again this year.
oh, awesome. Did you of course cosplayed as Sylvester McCoy for YomaCon? Did you find it difficult putting the costume together?
Not as difficult as you'd think, as I thought. A lot of the materials I was able to get from eBay, like the pants and the scarf. And I already had the sweater vest and the question mark umbrella because my brother had visited the Doctor Who store in London several years back, and he had gotten them and wasn't using them. Actually, the hardest thing to find was the jacket because people don't make cream colored jackets anymore. I don't know why. I went to like 5 or 6 different clothing stores looking for one. I eventually found one at a rag stock that just fits me.
Nice. Um, uh, did anybody recognize you as the Seventh Doctor at YomaCon? I'm sure there were, but
I did get a lot of people who recognize me. The problem is that actually the majority of people thought I was the fifth Doctor.
really.
Because most of their exposure had been to the new series, and so they've seen the mini episode Time Crash,
Uh,
where the 10th Doctor meets the 5th Doctor. So everyone kept mistaking him for me and asking, "Where's the celery?"